Hi everybody and welcome to the Mind Body Connective. I'm Steph Unthank from Infinity Wellness, and hello to Bridgette Sunman, who's from Be Active for Change. Hi Bridgette.
Hi Steph.
Hi, we're back here again today for episode 8 of this video cast. So don't forget that when you get to the end of the video cast that you can like it, share it and engage other people in these topics of discussions through both LinkedIn and YouTube and probably elsewhere later on. So it's really good to be back, Bridgette. Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to be here, Steph, and I'm just finding it's a really useful format this for us to sort of, discuss some of these things that are really close to our hearts. And in the last one, you were talking about a book that was really, close to your heart, and we both read that. That was really fascinating. And one of the things I wanted to sort of focus on this time round was something that sort of has been a little bit of an underlying theme in some of our previous sessions, and it's around what gets in the way of changing our perception of time. So we've talked a lot about how important, this awareness is, this noticing, particularly this quality of time. And one of the things, just looking back over some of those episodes that sort of struck me is, so how can we help people understand, what gets in the way and what does get in the way? So I was just going to share a few things that sort of came up for me around that question. Maybe then you have give us some of your ideas, and we'll just maybe knock that one around. How does that sound?
Sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. I like this topic.
Yeah, I know it's one of your favourites, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is mine as well.
I always wish there was more hours in the day, just like most people, I think.
I think if we could solve that one, we'd probably be really, really popular. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
So I think it is back to that, what gets in the way. Well, I think part of it is noticing. We get this sort of stuck habit. We get fixed in our day. We've talked about autopilot. But I think it's testing our understanding sometimes and just getting to know ourselves a little bit better. That's something that certainly helped me, and just practices of just embracing doing things differently. So just finding some ways in which where I have got stuck, perhaps in the day, and then maybe just making a choice. The next day I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to get stuck the whole morning at the laptop. I'm consciously, even if I've got sort of several Zoom meetings, or I've got a networking meeting and a client meeting and a Zoom meeting, I'm going to just find a way to really recalibrate that for myself, or I'm going to notice the effect of not doing that. And again, that can be a conscious choice. So maybe I don't have the ability to maybe put any extra time in, but I'm going to notice the consequence. If I've got a whole morning, I need to take action then in the afternoon. I'm responsible for doing something that makes me feel a little bit less stuck. So I think it's that noticing, and sometimes there is a bit of resistance that comes up for me around how I actually physically do that. And again, sometimes that is just about, well, maybe there is a trade-off later in the day where I then, do something really different. Like I get outside, I go for a walk, I maybe take some different nutrition for that day because I know I'm going to need that. So what about you? What do you find gets in the way of changing your perception of time?
Yeah, I think the main thing for me is always believing that other things are more important, and that other things in my life have to come first before the things that might be important for me. And then I think the second thing is that probably like most people, you can get caught up in stuff. So and it's not the same as procrastinating. It's not that. It's more about that there might be 50 things that you've got on a to-do list. That's not me, by the way, but it's an example. 50 things on a to-do list. And I'll come back to that because that's a good point. 50 things on a to-do list, and you end up playing around the edges at more than 2 or 3, so you don't really get anything done at all. So so I suppose that's about being productive. So I've found a few like really neat little ways that I've become so much more productive. There's more I could do for sure, but I found some really neat little ways over the last maybe probably 2 years, I would say, that I've started to build into my day-to-day, and they have become a habit now. But coming back to what you just said, Bridgette, that doesn't stop me from having those moments of, should I really be doing that? Because actually there's other things that really need doing, that need addressing, that are really important. So yeah.
So I think that's really important, just picking up on that. Should I really be doing that? And again, that's almost an awareness.
Yeah.
That's a checking in and a testing. And that was one of the things I was going to come on to talk about. Is one of the ways that we can, can get in the way is that we don't challenge ourselves. We don't take that opportunity to review. And so I think there's some really simple little steps, again, maybe at the end of the day, certainly at the end of the week, particularly if it feels like it's been quite a crushing week, to really look at and just to look back through and look at those different things that have happened, and maybe test the understanding there, what really happened. Sometimes that's difficult to do on our own, so sometimes even maybe just working with a peer or a colleague or a partner or a friend. Great if you've got a coach or a mentor. I mean, that's both the work that we get involved with, and again, certainly working with a coach can help you look at those patterns and those habits. But we can start to do that for ourselves. We can start to sort of really ask those questions of what got in the way, what prevented me from having that spaciousness, that time, during some of those days. And I think it's this sort of keeping this playful curiosity rather than it at the end of the day or the end of the week being a judgmental questioning. It's just that, oh God, I probably could have done something better today. What is it that I could have done that maybe I can carry into either tomorrow or next week? Do you find you sort of have that
better now
question coming for you?
A lot better now, actually. And if it's okay, I'll just share a little anecdote. Only last week I spoke to 3 colleagues, friends and colleagues they are. So they're colleagues, they were colleagues first, and they've become friends over the last couple of years because of the type of work that we do. And all 3 of them, including me, so 4 with me, all talked about how we felt a bit overwhelmed in that week, and that it just felt that it didn't matter what time we got up that day and what time we went to bed, there was just so much to do, and so many things that needed addressing and needed our attention. And it was really useful because it was almost like a gift from the universe. I made a phone call to a really good friend of mine and said, how's your week been? And the response I got was, it's not been great. I've been quite overwhelmed. I've had so much to do. I don't feel like I've made very much progress. I feel like, for instance, I feel really guilty for not spending enough time with my family. And I said, well, do you know what? If this might make you feel a bit better, I feel exactly the same. I've had a very similar week where I felt a bit overwhelmed, not got everything done that I wanted to get done, felt a bit of kind of Steph guilt in terms of not spending enough time with my partner. Asking the right questions, about how did your day go today, and being there for other people and not just for me. It was and that conversation happened 3 times with 3 different people in the same week, within the space of 48 hours. So I really kind of get that. I get that sense of, from time to time, of course, life is really busy and life can feel a bit overwhelming, but I find that what keeps me in check are my rocks, I guess. My rocks of the day, and those rocks are that they've taken me time, Bridgette. They've taken me time to build into my day. They've taken me time to know that what helps me to feel really tuned in the afternoon is to have a walk after lunch, because otherwise I just feel really tired. And now I do that most days. Just like I've been running for the last year, and now every Tuesday morning I run 10k, but it's just part of who I am now. I don't even need to think about it. And it's those little rituals. I'm not saying people have to run 10k, by the way, but it's those little rituals.
Good. I'm glad you're not saying that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's those little rituals, I think, that if we can build them in, they are what help us to manage up the rest of our time really effectively. That's certainly what helps me.
Yeah, I really like that. And I really like this sort of rocks. What suddenly sprung into my mind was bedrock. They're the sort of bedrock of your day and the sort of fundamental there. And I think one of the things I was going to add is, if you can make it something motivating and inspiring in there, and link it to something that's motivating and inspiring. And so clearly you've got that. For you, you know what that is. That's the individual nature of your day. It wouldn't suit me. And again, we've reflected on this in the past, but I think it is that looking at what really inspires you, motivates you, making sure that there is some bedrock of that. If it can't be through every day, at least it's in there for the week. Ideally, something is in there every day. Ideally, several rocks in there every day. And I think one of the things around this sort of, perception of time and changing it is, allowing ourselves to have those elements in there, as well as a busy schedule. And then they are very much the things that, like a rock you can cling on to. It gives you that stability, gives you that clarity, it gives you that focus. And that can be, I think, really instrumental then in a really pressurized sort of week where otherwise all you can see are all the commitments. So yeah,
I couldn't agree more. And I think it's just recognizing that it takes a bit of practice to do that. It takes a bit of practice to first have the courage to try and put those rocks in the diary, and then notice your levels of success as to, and without judgment, right, but my level of success to how many of those rocks did I achieve this week, and then what adjustments can I make if I didn't achieve them but I wanted to, and the main driver for me, there's two things. One is that it does keep me sane to go for a walk every day. It keeps me awake and alert in the afternoon. But then secondly is that it's kind of the important things for me, the important things for my self-care that make me more productive when I'm trying to deliver to the plans that I started off with at the beginning of the week. So I've got 5 things that I need to do this week that are really important to me in the business, and important to clients, obviously. How can I get those 5 things done in the best possible way without it causing me any stress or anxiety? Actually, I know that the best way to get them done is to stick to my self-care rocks.
Yeah. So I think that what I'm hearing you say there is like a benefit for benefit. So if you give yourself that, it's identifying the benefits, and it's a period of testing and examining, exploring what those are. And some rocks may get switched out some weeks for other ones, I think, and certainly over the for me, over the course of 2 or 3 months, I can easily switch things in and switch things out. But then that gives you your benefit for dealing with the things that are important for your clients, as you say, for your work life. So it's like a benefit exchange in a way, isn't it? And I think that for me is quite important to associate it with that. Otherwise, it can just feel like it's a grind, and I think that's where sometimes the problem comes.
And I think we get into that habit of using that sentence, I haven't got time.
Yeah.
And when I say that sentence out loud, I haven't got time for that today, that causes me anxiety, and that causes my stress to rise, and that's no good for me. I don't need that, quite frankly. But I think that phrase, I haven't got time, is a lot more, has got a lot deeper meaning to it when we say it out loud than maybe we take consideration for, because that does bring about a lot of anxiety. I haven't got time.
Yeah. Well, it's a signal. Well, how it's coming to me in the way you're just describing that is that's another signal, and maybe that's a really good signal for you to take notice as to what. So that feels quite loaded. I haven't got time. Yep. Do we feel we have the time? Do we feel guilty that we haven't got the time? There's an assessment there, isn't there? I think that's what you're saying.
And it comes back to your original point, Bridgette, around the perception.
Yeah.
The perception of time. So how are we managing that perception of time? It's I haven't got time, or I haven't got the capacity for that. Now, if I say that out loud, I haven't got the capacity for that, that's even more draining on me, because that's about my human capacity to deal, right? So if I say that out loud, that's really draining. That feels really heavy on me to say that.
Interesting. And again, back to the body, the heaviness. Absolutely. So that feels like maybe probably a good place to sort of to pause today, to stop, as we've used in one of our other techniques. So I'll let you do our usual reminders, because you're very good at that.
Thanks, Bridgette. I really enjoyed talking about that today.
I have too.
Brought some stuff up for me as well. So thanks very much. But as I said at the beginning, everybody, don't forget to, if you've watched the whole thing, and you can recommend our video casts. We're now on session 8, so you've got 8 sessions to watch. And you can certainly like it, comment. Please comment on YouTube, both Bridgette or my page. Comment and share, and don't forget to follow for more content, because this is just the start. Thanks so much, Bridgette. You're a star.
Take care, Steph. Thank you.
Cheers. done it again.